Probably my music.
Oh.
Hello! Welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Hilk Empath. I just like having these little talks and the way I feel about things. And being a Hilk Empath, you always feel some kind of way. Ain't that true, Ma?
Yeah, that's true, Margie.
We're just rocking out. I just got Mom her first song on iTunes. It's the Age of Aquarius. How about this for a wonderful synchronation? Well, okay, we'll just let it. We'll allow it. Synchronation. Yesterday we did a combined art project. Hand me that notebook right there. Mom did the tree trunk. She started it. And then I did the leaf part. And we signed it. And I put the date on it. So this is the picture that we drew. Mom did this part, and I did this part. And then we signed it, Margie Lori, October 29th, 2020. And I read it to Mom, the date, or as I was writing it, I said it out loud. And she went, the Age of Aquarius. And I looked at her and I'm like, what you know about the Age of Aquarius, Ma? What you know about it, Ma? And she said, this song was like our anthem when I was like 19. And I said, well, okay, I understand that because I've done talks on the Age of Aquarius and I've talked about the song by the Fifth Dimensions. But she and I never talked about this before. So she's like, well, when they played that song all the time, I never had it like on vinyl or anything, but people that she hung out with, it was always on the radio. And then people would talk about, the astrologers would talk about how it was coming in 2020. Because that's when her recognition chimed in. Because I said October 29th, 2020. And she went, the Age of Aquarius. And I was just like, what our spirit hangs on to. What our spirit hangs on to. Because we haven't talked about astrology in quite some time. You know. My thumbnail is the tattoo on my leg. And this is, it's a piece of wood and it's surrounded by a bunch of drill bits. All these kind of drill bits. Because I think that the harshness of life forms and molds us. And if we're careful and if we're deliberate, that these moldings can make us into beautiful pieces of art, you know. So even the harshest, most sharp, just brutal, you know, kind of experience can really turn us, and that's what people are stepping into, is their of who they really are, and of, you know, and it don't matter. You know, I've been a sorry son bitch in my life and in past incarnations, and I know that a lot of my karma in this incarnation is to rectify what I've done in my past. And so my best thing I can do is not keep doing things to cause harm to people, to keep accruing that karma. And I do definitely know right now that the astrology is in line, that it is just best to be above board with everybody right now, don't try to swindle nobody right now. Don't try to pull a fast one. Don't try to act one way and you feel another, because now is not the time. You will be seen, you will be caught, and you'll freaking probably, if embarrassment is a vibration which you hold, or shame or anything like that, you're probably going to pick that up. Yeah, because it's, you know, everybody gets in a point in their life that you know better. We know better. We know what right courses of action. We know what truth feels like. We know what a lie feels like. And I was cruising around, I was like, before I started this talk, I was like, sometimes, Mom, before I do a talk, I'll go and look for news. And so I went to some mainstream news outlets, you know, and I'm just like, Mom, none of this stuff, it's all bullshit. And she's like, why do you think it's all, I say, because none of it's true. You know, 9 million cases in America. Okay. And, you know, so, you know, the president's 74, he had it, he's fine. You know, I mean, it's like, how long are people going to hang on to these old narratives, you know? But the funny part is, And all the stuff that is newsworthy, it never makes it in the news. But people like me share about it. Like the bishop yesterday. Go see the Cranky Beaver? He did his recap. Mom, we're gonna finish listening to that after a while.
Okay.
I think it's that we started listening to it earlier when Carrie came home, and then we got into conversation. And so proceed to, let's see, Attention Hollywood. Where is it? The one that we started. I want to tell these nice people about it. Anyone that watches my video. I love Pocket of the Future too. Cracks me up.
Pocket of the Future.
Yeah, a man named Paul Romano. He's real freaking. He's funny. The Naughty Beaver. Yeah, Archbishop exposes Pope Francis and others as the head of the New World Order. Part 1. All these truths are coming out, and that's what the astrology's been lining up to do for the last several years. It's just like, I mean, I've been doing these talks for several, and people go back like around this time frame. Every year, I'm saying the same thing. I'm saying the same stuff, you know, and it's like people are still living from ego. They're still doing it. They're still going after money, property, and prestige, you know. You know what a trippy thing is? I believe that we're all divinely freaking, like, guided to where we're supposed to be. It just occurred to me that I have a half-sister that lives in the same state that I live in today. Like, when we were talking, I was like, oh, shit. Jessica lives in Arizona, too. Oh, yeah, but we ain't close. So it's just like, you know, after-fact thoughts. It's really weird. Wasn't for lack of effort or anything. Ooh, shoot, that's rad. I just got Road Atlas. I love these things, man. I love these things. I love maps. And yeah, that's another lost art. People that can't read a map because they all got so too. See, because people just believed what people told them over believing in themselves of what is true. And so they nullified and doled down their own bullshit flat meter. They just quit, you know, but all of a sudden, in like the last, I don't know, when it started, because I always looked at things different than everybody else anyway, so everybody has a different timeline, but when I really started seeing the shift in people, and I don't have any, if people want to live an ego lifestyle, that's their decision, you know, to live for money, property, and prestige. There's just not a lot of reward in it, you know? There's just not a lot that goes with it. Yeah. And cheating and lying and stealing, we were talking about that earlier today. It's like, how does that start? I remember when I took like little rubber bullets at a Thrifty. It was Thrifty's in Morro Bay. And there are these like little rubber bullets, pellets for like a little play gun. And the package was open, and I put some in my mouth because I put everything in my mouth. I would always taste things, smell things, and it had a funny rubber texture, so I was like chewing on them. And when we left the store, Dan busted me and said, "What's in your mouth? Where did you get that?" And I was like, "In the store." So I had to spit them out and take them back in and tell the people that I stole them. And then I was probably 3 is before we moved. 4, because we moved before I was 5, so it's probably 3. And then so I was just like, that stuck with me. I never wanted to steal stuff, you know. And I did later when I was in, but I stole a pair of sunglasses from an optometrist once, Dr. Goder, in Central Valley when I was a teenager. And after I got sober, I went and I wrote him a letter and sent him a check and told him, you know, they were $35 then, but, you know, if I were today, so I sent him a check for like $75 or something like that.
Really?
And said, if this is enough, let me know. And he wrote me back and said, yeah, and because he no longer was at the practice, but he said paid in full, and that yeah. So yeah, that's why you clean up the wreckage of your past, and you don't cause harm to people, because you know that guy could have just, you know, Or he could have just hated me forever. Just, oh, just another dumb poor. That's why you don't help people, because they steal from you. Because he was always really good to us. Because I was always broke glasses and was really hard on stuff. And sometimes he would replace things and things, you know. So you got to take care of each other and your own. And when people get so caught up in the money, property, and prestige of it all, it's just, there's no spirit in that. And then this is the world that we live in. And I call the DNC the Demonic National Convention. You know, and how come that stuff isn't on the news? Oh, it's because the people that make the news don't want it to be, and they're leading your train of thought. But everybody's going, nah, this is bullshit. And I thought it was so funny how yesterday there are these media sources that I call them twatter and face butt, just because I don't want to give them any credit, and I don't want the algorithms to catch me saying a word and then put me in a timeout of some sort, because they so control freaky, you know. Because if you go against what anybody says and they don't like it, then it's going against community guidelines. But they never tell you what it is that you say. It's just whatever they feel like, you know. It's never not been like that. And I would love to see an Earth that it was like that. It wasn't like whoever was in charge and how they feel that day. But it's always been that way. Every place every organization, every job, it's always the person in charge and how. And if you get one that's all over the place, oh Jesus dear, how you can't please a person. You can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all the people all the time, or even one person all the time. You can't, because once they know that you're a people pleaser, they're just going to twist things up and jack it up just to fuck with you. Because that's the psychology of a lot of people. That's why they are in charge. That's what they like to do. I'm confident I'd make a good leader, and the reason being is I don't ask people to do things that I would never do for myself. And you have all these people like in the Senate and stuff. These people make 6 figures. Like, I never cared to make as much money as they care to make. And then they have all their side stuff and all their endorsements and all their, you know, their options and stuff, and they're millionaires, right? So you give people that don't ever need for anything, and you put them in a position to divvy out things for people that need things. How do you think it's going to get to those people? They're not even clever enough. They're not even clever enough to these are people that don't do their own laundry. They haven't done their own laundry in years. They don't cook for themselves. They have drivers. It's like, and then they're trying to make decisions, and like 36 of them are making decisions for people that they don't care about because they don't see. Because they're all ego, so ego is out of sight, out of mind. They're not my problem. You know, but they're in the positions of power to take care of that. Yeah, these people, we are your problem. We are absolutely your problem. And every 4 years, you know, the elections come around again. Oh, but the thing of it is since DT, Donald Trump, has been in, he ain't a politician, Ma. So he's not doing the same things, and he's always kept track with the marauders and the scumbags that he's seen his whole entire life. And so this administration, he's spent busting these people out, and he's also been trying to ward off this bullshit witch hunt that they've had him on. That they tried, that, you know, the Demonic National Convention has put him on a witch hunt and all this stuff, and he's just like, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, and they proved that he didn't do this and he didn't do that. But what they did is they distracted enough to keep him from doing all the things that he wanted to do. And now the election's coming up in 3 days, and he's gonna win. When you look at the rallies of him, there's thousands. Like, people in Omaha last week, a few days ago, he was there 4 or 5 days ago, whenever it was, and it was so cold, and they had so many people. They were turning away buses. They had all these people that were standing out in the cold waiting, you know, just to be there. They sent like 7 to the hospital because it was so cold. They got and all for him. And the thing of it is, Boo Boo Bowden is what I call him, because I don't like the man. I don't want to give him the respect to say his name right. Boo Boo Bowden. He, there's like 30 people, 40 people standing in circles at his freaking rallies, you know? I mean, it's just like, you can't, and then and if they do say that he wins, I mean, I don't know. Things are going to change. The earth is not, there's already a way of how the earth is going to be when it settles down. And like today, there was a 7-point earthquake, and, yeah, and down by Crete, where I was on the 34th parallel, 5th parallel, in the ocean, and then there were news reports and social media that there were tsunamis around the Mediterranean, but you don't see anything about it on the news, and it's just, that's why I like to know people all over the world, and then I can message them, be like, dude,
is this happening?
Did this happening? Yeah, I do that all the time.
You do?
Yeah.
People that you don't know?
Yeah.
How do you get
Well,
their
not that
name?
I don't know, but people that I know and live in other places.
Oh, okay.
I'll be like, hey, mostly in the United States. I would like to be able to have the opportunity to extend my to know people all over the place. But anyway, so we are having a pretty good day today. Dogs are outside the dog ranch, and Mom and I hung out. I made some cookies this morning. I was just about to go eat one. Tried one earlier, but I don't know. We're at a higher elevation, so everything's weird. I burned a couple, so I'm learning the curve on how to bake and do things different at a higher vibe, higher elevation, literally. Yeah, it's different. It's weird. I'm all spacey all the time and stuff, and like I was spacey before, right, Mom?
Right.
What else? What's going on here? Yeah, internet is still crap. I was watching Marge astrology, and she was like, "Yep, internet's crap."
That's what she said.
Well, no, I'm ad-libbing, but she was just like talking about, and that's what there's a big old huge, whenever all the tech companies do updates and change their interfaces at the same time, that's like a big shift, and they recently have done that. And when they do that, and then things fall through the cracks, algorithms change. That's when there's just like, what always comes down to me is, if your message is supposed to get out, if it's a divine message, and if it's God, received, and I did not yet, I can't believe I didn't invite God into the room, and we're 18 minutes in. Oh my goodness. I like to invite God into the room on these talks to let people know where I stand. Or lay. But I ain't up, and tomorrow is Halloween, and it's I'll be setting my positive intentions to thwart and to counteract all the nefarious and dark ones. That's the only reason why I do them. That's when I'll dance under the sun for love and light, to counteract a lot of these rituals that people will be doing for their own evil perpetuance and deeds and things like that. So we're just going to be dancing in light to void that and transmute that here on the 34th, 5th parallel. And, well, that's about all I got for now. Hope you have a rad day. Peace.